Thank you, Bernard. To get further perspective on this, we're joined by Global Affairs Analyst Calvin Dark. Calvin, thank you for joining us. Let's just get what your impression is of the importance to this re-election and for the region. What should we expect from his leadership?
Well, good to be here. I think ECOWAS is at a very, very critical point. And I think that the re-election kind of symbolizes that it's at a make it or break it moment, because how this benefits Nigeria, how this benefits all of the member countries, depends on how they deal with the challenges, particularly of those countries that have broken away, how that's going to affect security cooperation, which affects all the countries in the region, and how that's going to affect democracy. I saw that in the president's speech, he made a lot of references to democracy and how that has to be a focus of ECOWAS's work, but that is contrary to what's happening in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. So overcoming those challenges is going to be a really big challenge.
All right, you talked about Burkina Faso and Mali. We also know Niger is there. Despite forming the alliance of the Sahel states and irrevocably severing their ties with ECOWAS, the bloc has appointed Senegal president to facilitate a negotiation of their return. Do you see this yielding any positives, or should they be allowed to be for now until they have gone back to democratic principles?
Well, I do think that they need to go back to democracy, because it would set a horrible precedent if they were member states that didn't really represent the people because they weren't democratically elected. But I think that the role of the Senegalese president is going to be key, because what I am hoping he can do, given his youth, and given what he has talked about in his campaign and since taking office, kind of rethinking Senegal's relationships with colonial powers, particularly France. I think if he can figure out a way to have that work with ECOWAS, particularly with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, that could be amazing. Because here's the thing. I totally, as an American, understand wanting to rethink the relationships with colonial powers in Europe. I understand that there needs to be parity and equality. But there can't be no cooperation with the United States and Europe if the people in these countries want to have a prosperous future. And I think the Senegalese president is well positioned to navigate a way of developing new relationships, just not shutting out all of the West.
One of the major reasons the Sahel states gave for leaving ECOWAS was the influence of France in the region. However, they seem to have found new friends in Russia. What does this mean for the region going forward?
I'm glad you pointed it out, because I think that shows the hypocrisy on these military leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, because they make it seem as if they want to be independent of the world superpowers, but in reality, they just want to choose other ones. And for the military leaders' own purposes, Russia seems to be offering a better deal. But I think that the people in these countries need to think about, as we look at the future of the world, do they want to align their future with Russia? We know that the deals and partnerships that Russia has engaged in don't always work out for all partners involved. And they also know that stronger ties with Russia will make ties with Europe and the United States even more difficult. So I hope that is something that the people in these countries realize as the military leaders develop stronger relationships.
Calvin, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.